Everybody, this is sHaKeNbAkE from shakespub.net. Another vlog from me. I'm really having fun doing this. It seems like people are enjoying them, and I want to be real responsive to people when they kind of ask, hey, would you talk about this or do that? If it's something I want to talk about, I will. I just like those kind of ideas. I did get an idea that inspired me and sounded like a good thing to talk about. Even if it's only one person, it could be more, but it was from, the name's right here, raritan basilone. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I apologize if I'm not, but this video is for you. And if anybody else gets something out, that's great too. And maybe my kids might watch it. You never know. But this video, when I was preparing for it, I started getting some footage for behind me. I like to play some stuff behind while I'm talking. I actually got a little choked up. I was surprised by that when I was watching the footage because it brought back a lot of memories. Even though it was over 20 years ago for me, it brought back a lot of memories and how the experience changed my life for the better. This hopefully doesn't, well, it could go long. I'm going to try not to ramble and try to package this in a way that I guess you could get something out of it. I'm going to start off though. I'm going to show you a couple of pictures. My scanner's not working, so I'm just going to hold these up. And there's a reason I'm going to hold this up for a couple. Here's, let's see if you can see. I think you'll be able to see that okay. Let's turn it this way. I'm in the middle right there. That's Shake in the middle. I just got in the Rangers. I was a duck, they call us. And there's two good buddies of mine. There's that little guy, 5'4" Avila on the left there, my right. And then another guy called Benitez, we called later Goomba. And Goomba on the left there, I've stayed in touch with to this day, okay, from our Ranger days. And the other thing I want to point is how damn skinny. Hold on a second here, guys. I'm sorry for that. I wish I could have scanned it, but you get how skinny we were. There's this perception that if you're going to be like in the Rangers or whatever, you got big muscly dudes. Far from it, man. We're just your average dudes. But I'll tell you what you got to have to do that kind of stuff, in my opinion. This is in Panama. It's just a group of guys. I was a squad leader, and I'm way in the back. You can see my big ears back there. Just some. I wish it wasn't so blurry. Sorry, guys. I got to get a scanner working here. Maybe that's a little better. There we go. Nah. All right. And then here's another one. We got in trouble. That's me on the right there with the axe. But basically, we got in trouble, and I had to spend the weekend digging a trench or a foxhole, and we just made the best of it. And then here's one. It's all, this is going to tie into, it's about good times. There's Shake in the blue shirt. Let's see if there we go. It's kind of getting a little distorted there because of my big head, but there's Shake in the blue shirt. We were partying down in Daytona Beach, having a good time down there. You see Goomba in the background there, but all of those kind of mean something in what I'm going to tell you. Let me get this playing in the back just to set the mood. I found kind of this Ranger video from Ranger School. And let me just say this. This is really, it might surprise you. This is not going to be about like the Rangers. I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of, but it's more in general, a test of who you are. And the question about like, if you're a young person, I think, and you're 17, 18, whatever, you're about to get out of high school, is I know what I wanted to do. And I know what I kind of would like my kids to do is get out into the world and do something, right? And for me at the time, college wasn't the option, but I wanted to do something. And I was at this was in Frankfurt, Germany. My dad was in the military. I was in at a carnival deal, and some guys parachuted in, and me and my buddy said, man, that looks cool. And we were kind of jocks, went down to the recruiting station. I told my dad. And the guys, we said, hey, we saw these guys jumping from planes. What's that, He says, oh, I got something for you. You want to be a Ranger? And we didn't even know what that was, And didn't even know. So, we're watching some video. The video looked cool, like, guys throwing each other. It looked like, that looks cool. We didn't know anything. I told my dad. My dad said, are you crazy? Do you know what they really do? My dad knew. I didn't. My dad served, in 20-something years, 2 tours in Vietnam. My sister served. My son right now is serving, and a big shout out to him. So proud of you for doing that, and you're really just turning out to be awesome. And I served, obviously. So, almost like a generation of just generations might just keep going, which I'd be okay with. But I wanted to do something, and my dad tried to talk me out of it, but I still signed up. And I had, to be honest, no clue what I was going to do. But what I did know is I wanted to put myself in a position to find out who sHaKeNbAkE was. And I knew this was going to do it. I was really going to find out who I was as a person. I knew that. I was smart enough to know that. And I also knew that I would find out some things I didn't like. But I also thought the outcome would be I'd be a better person. And I'd get out into the world. That was my goal. And it wasn't because I didn't have great parents or great home. I did. I loved it. I loved school, all that stuff. But I wanted, in some ways, to throw myself into the fire and see what would happen. And I was scared to death. And the one thing I remember, I'll share this with you guys, is I'd never really seen my dad cry, right? I'd never seen my dad. He was old. He's old school. My dad's still around. He's an awesome guy. He's old school from Detroit. 2 tours in Vietnam, like I said. I'd never seen my dad. But when I left to go to the Rangers, that's the only time I saw my dad cry. I think he knew what I was about to get into, and I didn't. So that brings back a lot of memories. So what happens is I kick off, and my idea was I was going to do this. And the one thing I had going for me that I think what I would suggest to you that you're going to have to do the gut check, and it's not about, the guns and chiseled chest and acting all tough. Because when you get to boot camp, if you choose to do that, they strip you down, they shave your hair, they strip your identity, and you end up all being the same. All right, and there's a reason for that, and it's that camaraderie. You can't be in a cohesive unit and one be better than the other. You got to be all the same. You're all expendable, and you're only as good as the guy next to you. That's how it goes, right? But I was scared, man. I was scared in kind of a good way, though. And each day I did things that I thought I never could do. And to be honest, I was afraid of heights. Still am. And I almost knew that at some point I'm going to have to jump from a plane. I became an airborne ranger, right? For 4 years, and I knew it was coming, and I was in a sick way glad. I wanted to face that fear I had. I wanted to face it. And when you conquer that, man, you feel like a new person. The confidence I gained in the military was through the roof, and just because of taking on these kind of challenges. Let's see what's coming up next here. All right, there we go. Let's keep going. Keep playing that footage back there. I've been all these places back there. I was stationed at Fort Benning, and to see those again brings back a lot of memories. But here's the takeaway message for you if you choose to do it. One, I think you gotta go in the attitude that you're not gonna quit no matter what, and that was it for me. It wasn't about muscles, nothing like that. There was nothing anybody was gonna do to make me quit. I mean, I'm talking. And I'll give you a quick story about that. In Ranger School, which I don't know what it's like now. I'm sure it's still it was 58 days when I went through. But I was in the Ranger Battalion. So it was, to me, in some ways, it was harder in the Ranger Battalion. But in Ranger School, for some reason, I pissed off these 2 instructors, the RI, the Ranger instructors, right? And these guys all night, they blew a gasket. And it was so stupid. And I think I was 19 years old, maybe 20, young dude. These are grown men, and they're scary as hell. But these guys said, we're going to break you, Ranger Baker. By morning, you're going to quit. We're going to make you quit. So they strapped an M60 on me. I got my rucksack, 50, 60-pound pack on the back. They gave me the Prick 77, which was, it's a heavy radio. Normally, you don't double up somebody like that. So I got the 60, full ammo, my rucksack, all my gear, and this Prick 77. And these guys, all night, basically chase me, and they tell the guys it's my fault, chase me with artillery simulators, and they're throwing them basically at me. And, you got to run, you're like, already, and you call it a direction, 3 o'clock, 200 meters, and you run in that direction. So this went on for hours, and I'm falling over logs. I mean, and these guys are behind me. Come on. They're like using, the F word, quit, man. You're going to quit. We're going to break you. And you know what I did? The more they did it, the more I said in my heart and mind, they will never break me. You know why? And this is what I want you to take this away. There are good people in this world, I think, and there are some bad people. There's people with bad intentions. And I think I'm far from perfect, but man, those guys at that moment were being jerks. And there was no way I was going to give them the satisfaction to break me and give them that gift. And let me tell you, I was tired. My muscles hurt, all of that. You know what kept me going was heart. There was no way I was going to quit. And I didn't. I went that whole damn night. That next morning when they left and the relief came in, the guy came and he says, man, are you Ranger Baker? I said, yep. And I mean, I'm bleeding and everything. I got busted up hands from falling. He said, I heard you had a rough night. I said, yeah, I did. He says, let me tell you something. He says, the slate's clean, man. You're good with me. Why don't you get some rest and let's make it a new day. And that's what I did. I drove on. And I tell that because that's part of it. Going into, if you want to go in the Rangers or any special forces or anything. And I can tell you right now, I would say this, no one is better than the other in my eyes. I think if you're serving, period, you're doing your country's service. And I don't put different soldiers on different pedestals. You volunteered, good enough for me. You got my high five. So I don't care if you're cooking. I don't care if you're on the radio, you're a medic. Everybody plays a role and is just as valuable. But I don't want to lose my train of thought. Okay, but here's the things that really I carried forward to this day from the Rangers, from the military, from taking risks, from going out there. And that's this. I really, in a good way, you're at your worst sometimes in the military. And I'll generalize that more. In situations where you're starving, you're sleep deprived, you're miserable, you're wet, you just think you're on the last straw. Your true self comes out then, and you learn the worst things about you. And it's at those moments I knew I had some character flaws and had to try to work on those. But they come out then. You also learn about the good things about you too. And you also learn about the bad and good about others. Okay. You also learn about the value of camaraderie, about that guy next to you could use your help. Not always. There could be time he's got to help you. And you just learn how important that is, I think, in the military. And that is why, let's get this. That is why, like, I'm still friends with the one guy, Goomba, to this day, is you form bonds with blood brothers that you will not, in my opinion, you will not form with any other thing in the world. Because you do everything around each other, and they see the worst and best of you. That's a huge life thing, and I to this day value that, thinking back. The other thing is, in my career, after I went to college, and moved on, this transition period, it's hard to let go of it, right? But when I moved on in my career, a lot of those things I learned in the military, especially the Rangers, propelled me in my career. And it wasn't like tactical stuff and all that stuff, which was part of my job and what I kind of did. It helped in that. But it was more about decision-making, confidence, doing the right thing, not being afraid to take a risk, to make a decision. Because the one thing you learn in the Rangers right when you get in is you'll, and this was in Ranger school too. You got to imagine, I was 18 years old. My first patrol in the Rangers, right? Training. I don't even know what I'm doing. I have no clue. Couple guys, they simulated are dead, my squad leader, and they pointed at me and said, Ranger Baker, you're the squad leader, right? I'm like, what? They said, do it. And you got to step up and do it. And the message is better to do something than nothing. And in my career moving forward, I always had that as a guiding light. Better to be active, do something, make a decision, base it off your values and things that you know from experience what you think is right and wrong, and stick with that. And that's what I did. I took risks and had a great career. I moved up the ladder, and it wasn't because I stepped on people or did things like that. It was because I made decisions, I took risks, and I did the right thing. Not always, but most of the time. That was from my military career. In Ranger School, you have a number, at least you did then, and you have no rank. They take your rank off. I was a private. I was in Ranger School with guys that were captains and lieutenants and all these things. And I remember, they'd call your number and they'd be like, "You're the platoon sergeant, Ranger Baker." I'm 18 years old, 19. I'm a private. These guys in the platoon are captains and first sergeants, and I have to tell them what to do. Oh, I'm just telling my little story here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thank you. And you got to tell them what to do. And imagine that, Raritan. So you either you do it or you're out. You either do it or you're out. And I chose just to do it. And did I get it wrong? Hell yeah. I graduated from Ranger School 4 and 4, 50%. Horrible, not great, but I made it because I just did it. You did ask about being a paratrooper. I was scared all the time, to be honest. I mean, I did it. It was part of the job. I think it was another character builder. Some moments, I guess, were exciting. A lot of adrenaline pumping. That was pretty cool. There were some really awesome moments. A lot of laughs, a lot of fun with your friends doing road trips and all that. Some of the training and all that. It was just, awesome. I don't know what it's like today. I'm sure that it's pretty much at the core the same. The military doesn't change that much. The message I want you to hear, though, is, if you're undecided, do a little homework and all that, but I would say do something, whether that's college, whether that's the military, whatever it might be. Pick something and go for it, man. And then learn from it and then move on. And when you're nervous or afraid, what I used to do is I'd go first. I was no Rambo. When they'd say, anybody involved, I'd just do it. Get it out of the way. Because I found out it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And the longer you wait in that line to jump out that plane or, rappel down that slide or get in the hand-to-hand pit, whatever, the more your mind starts to make it scarier than it really is going to be. Yeah. Okay. So that's you asked for it. I gave it. I don't know if it's going to be helpful for you. I hope so. I have, again, great memories of that time. You also have to learn to be able to move on and not live in the past. But there are things, again, in my genetic code, I think, from that experience, I don't want to leave behind, that are good things that have helped me in my life. And I hope help my son and anybody else in my family who serves in the future. I think there is honor in serving your country. Take the politics out of it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I remember once I was home on leave and someone told me that I was brainwashed. I would do anything they said, and I said, yeah, you're probably right. But I guess I believe that at the end of the day, it's better, and this is there's a country song like this. It's cheesy, but there's some truth to it. It's better to stand for something than to stand for nothing, because basically there's no line for you. You'll always fall. And for me at that point in my life, I was standing for something, and to me it was something to be proud of. And I know to this day, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, my hormones are going out of whack, but when I go to a baseball game or a football game or any kind of like event like that, and they do the national anthem and the flags flying or whatever, I get choked up, man. I do. I get choked up, and another part of me gets enraged when I look around and see. I'm not going to say the word. When I see people just disrespecting that process, I sometimes want to come uncorked. When I think about the people that have lost their lives, from our beginning as a country to now, I just want to come unglued, but I don't. And I guess maybe that's because I've served and learned a little about the history of that flag, but that's enough of that. Okay, guys, I hope you liked it. Another vlog, a little more serious, a little more exposure of my life. And I did that for you, Raritan. If anybody else doesn't get anything, great. I hope you get something out of it. I'd love to hear more from you on what you decide to do, and anyone else. If you guys got questions about it, post them in there. And next vlog, I'm looking for ideas. I am going to talk about my my music one, how I got into playing this guitar. It's a really cool story, I think. I'm also going to show you my new sound booth, and then get some ideas from the community on what I could talk about and some other stuff that might be funny, entertaining, or helpful. Cheers, peace, guys. I appreciate the subs, the likes, the interaction, and I wish all of you guys the best. That's some crazy. Watching those back there, I did that right there. Just real funny that's I think I can't remember what it was called, but there's the Darby mouse scared up. But it was funny is you slide down the slide for life. You go in the water. Then you get on this little wooden platform. It's real near. You get up there 30 something feet up. Then you shimmy out on this wire and you hang, and there's a ranger tab, and you lift yourself up. Back in the day, and you kiss that thing, and then when they tell you to let go, you let go. I was so pumped up, I pulled myself up, I kissed that thing, I let go, I hit the water, come out, I'm screaming ranger, whatever, and the guy is screaming, "Who told you to let go of that?" It was so funny. I do have some funny stories from the rangers. Maybe I'll tell some more of those. Cheers, peace, guys. Thanks again.